All right, episode two. All right, it's been a week on prep. It's been a pretty interesting week. I mean, it was a lot of training for work, right? So, a lot of just reading and listening and all that kind of stuff. Not a lot of fun, hands-on engineering work, but this coming week, that's when I get to get my hands dirty a little. Um, Diet's been fine. I mean, first week of a diet is usually the easiest, right? Not really getting hunger signaling just yet, but this week is probably when that's going to start. Next week, it's probably going to get a little bit more difficult, and the week after is probably going to start feeling like hell. Weight loss, right? Down from 188 pounds to 184 pounds. Really good, solid progress. However, there are some caveats, right? Especially when you're starting to lose weight, a very important thing to consider is how much water your body is storing, right? The number on the scale is generally a lie, right? Unless you are eating the same thing every day and weighing yourself at the same time, having the same bowel movements, right? You're not going to have a consistent tracking of weight. You just need to look at the general trend line for where that weight is moving. So for me, that trend line is down. That is fine. But my 188-pound weigh in was likely due to just coming off of bulk, right? I had a lot of carbs in my system. Carbs hold water, right? And so you're going to weigh more coming off of a weight gain phase or starting a diet, right? You're always going to weigh the most. So as you restrict your carbs, right, you restrict your diet, you're going to be losing water as well as body fat. So a lot of the weight you lose is just water, right? So a lot of people they start getting this false sense of like, oh, I'm doing great, and then all of a sudden it stops because they've just lost water, and fat loss is a lot slower than water loss, right? So these 4 pounds that I lost, pretty good, but likely 1 or 2 of those pounds were water, right? But I am still on track. I just have to keep doing my plan, right? So now I'm going to be eating 1,800 calories, right? Down from 2,000, just a 200 calorie deficit, right? As I lose weight, I need to start lowering my calories because my body's going to compensate. So that's what I'm doing. It's probably going to be fine. 1,800 calories is not that bad for me, right? Even though I am a little bit like heavier, 180s, right? 1,800 calories is usually not close to maintenance, but I do have a little bit of a slower metabolism, I will admit. But that's not really a good excuse to say that I can't lose weight. I just have to work a little bit harder. That's all it is. Gym going pretty smoothly, workouts working, you know, strength not decreasing yet. That's usually not something you're going to see until a month in through a diet, right? And I mean, your goal should be to maintain your strength as best as possible. Feeling pretty big in the gym, working, all that kind of stuff. Um, Work does make me tired before I go to the gym. Gym closes at 8, where I go to right now, until tomorrow, actually, when it'll start closing at midnight again. So it's been a pretty big rush to get from work back home, get my pre workout meal in, and then go to the gym. But struggles, this, that, there's always going to be something in your way, but you just have to keep pushing through. You'll be fine. All right, so first meal of the day, it's actually a bit late. It's around noon. Usually I wake up a bit before this, but I like to get my meals in later in the day because I don't really get hungry in the morning. And it's easier to have all your meals closer together because it makes you feel more full for that time, right? Fasting isn't really that scientifically proven. Don't listen to anyone who says that you have to fast or you have to do anything. Matter of fact, if someone is trying to tell you that you need to do the specific thing or buy the specific thing to get in shape, they're lying to you. They want you to spend your money on them or follow them or give them attention, right? Don't listen to those people. They're all liars. But first meal, same as last week. Uh, 56 grams of 93.7 ground beef, 4 eggs, 150 grams of Greek yogurt, Pretty simple. Just mix it all together. Pretty quick to cook. Real easy way to get some fresh food in before work, right? It only takes about 15 minutes to make, 15 minutes to eat. Just have to wake up 30 minutes earlier. Not that big of a deal. Same supplements as usual. Um, Not that big of a deal. Also, my little energy drink, White Monster, the best energy drink in the entire fucking world. Nothing stands up to this. Um, Apparently, I heard this shit is grapefruit flavored, which doesn't feel like it. You know, it feels like it's got its own flavor, right? Nothing. It's not a real world flavor. Not any real fruit combination makes this. It's just an elixir of the gods. I'll see you when I get my second meal in, and then get the workout in too. All right, meal number two. Same as last week. 420 grams of mangoes, 150 grams of Greek yogurt, 21 grams of honey. It's the pre-workout meal. Just gonna do cardio again. Today's Sunday, right? Probably gonna do around 40 minutes to an hour on the bike. Just burn some extra calories since I'm not lifting weights today. And then some abs. Nothing too special. I don't like to film my workouts right now, especially because uh, I go to a university rec center and it gets pretty packed, and it's like very inconvenient to try and film workouts when there's that many people in a gym, and also like really awkward. But if anyone really wants me to start filming my workouts or like give any advice based on actual training, then I can start doing that. It's not too big of a deal. I just don't really think that I want to, and doesn't seem that necessary just yet. But I'm gonna eat this and then get ready to go to the gym, all that kind of stuff. Usually, I would actually have a meal before this while I'm at work for lunch, right? Because when I go to the gym, it's around 5, 6 p.m. on weekdays after work. So lunch, I usually get a bit of protein in just so that I don't drop dead at the end of the day at work. Um, but today, honestly, not really feeling that hungry, so I didn't really eat that meal yet. So I'll probably eat it later in the day. It's the chicken tortilla meal. But if I'm not feeling that hungry, I'll probably lower the amount that I actually eat. Um, it's fine because I'm in a deficit. I can lower the deficit a little bit more for a day if I'm just not feeling like eating, which is pretty good right now because I know that come a couple weeks, I'm going to definitely feel like eating. So if I can get ahead now, I might as well, right? But that's pretty much it. I will see you after the gym. All right, back from the gym. Did a bit more cardio than I was anticipating I'd do. I did pretty much about an hour's worth of cardio. So feeling pretty good. So I decided to just do a little bit more. There's no harm in that, especially right now when I'm not super tired and super depleted from prep. Right, I've only just started, so I've got a lot more energy than me. Right, so I can push it a little bit harder now, with the idea that that will make it easier longer term. Right. Use those bursts of motivation. I mean, they're great. Just make sure that you at least hit the baseline that you wanted to hit beforehand, right? What you actually had planned. Even if you go over, that doesn't mean you should go under the next day because you went over, right? Don't use going over or doing more as an excuse to cheat a little, right? Then all of the going over part is just completely null and void, right? Didn't even mean a thing. So I don't actually have my last meal with me right now because it's still cooking, but pretty much just 200 grams chicken breast, cooked with paprika. Season your shit. No point in eating unseasoned food. It's just kind of weird, kind of diabolical. Three low carb tortillas, um, and no longer you doing the mashed potatoes, right? So this is where like the actual meal plan's actually changing to get to 1,800 calories rather than 2,000. So I was eating instant mashed potatoes for last week, but this time I just moved on to just straight up normal potatoes. No butter or anything in that, right? So just 300 grams of red potato cut up, boil it for a little, stick in the air fryer for 10 minutes, and they're really good that way. Pro tip with the potatoes, right? Boil them for like 5 minutes beforehand before you put them in the air fryer, and the inside will be a lot better and the outside will be more crispy. Little tiny tips like that help you stay on that diet, you know? Other than that, last thing I'm going to eat is about 150 grams more of Greek yogurt with a scoop of Kirkland brand protein powder. Now, you might be thinking, like, Kirkland brand protein powder, that's kind of weird. Why would you have that instead of something more high quality like Rise or My Protein? And the answer is that I am a cheap fuck and it tastes really good. If you have not had the Costco protein powder, I highly recommend it. On my last cut, when I was at 1600 calories, I was straight up mixing that shit with hot water to make hot cocoa, and it tasted just like hot cocoa, but it was protein powder. And it's got good macros as well. It's just got a bit more sugar than you'd probably want in it. But still, plenty fine. Like, it's good. It's a good protein powder. I highly recommend it. Don't go and buy shit that's expensive just because it's expensive. Buy shit that tastes good and that has good macros. That is all you need. There's no point in overcomplicating fitness. So many people want to overcomplicate this shit, but it's just not, it's really not that complicated, right? Just stick to your basics and you're going to make more progress than you could imagine. But that's pretty much it. I did an update with my physique on the shorts and the reels, right? Go check those out. They're pretty nice. Made a bit of progress. I mean, like, it's not that noticeable given the percent body fat that I'm at, but as you lower in percentage of body fat, the more like pounds you lose, like 1 pound loss from 22% body fat and 1 pound loss from 15% body fat are very different. That 15% body fat is going to look a lot different with that amount of weight loss. So when you're losing weight and you're not seeing the physical changes, then don't worry about it. You're chilling, right? Just keep going. It'll happen. It'll, as long as you feel in your heart that you're making progress, you'll make progress, right? And don't even have to listen to the scale that much. I can listen to the scale because I'm so advanced in lifting that I'm not going to really be building muscle. So the scale is going to be relatively accurate for me as long as I'm tracking the amount of food that I'm eating and weighing myself at the same time on a fasted stomach, right? But for you, if you're just starting out, right, your weight not might not change, but you want to go off of physical difference, right? And it's not going to change much week to week. It's not going to change much day by day, maybe not even month by month. But when you look back after a couple months or a year, you're going to look completely different, right? So it's those small little changes that add up along the way, right? Same with building muscle, right? You might not notice a difference day by day, but that like tiny little layer that you build on your muscle is going to stack up if you do that 1,000 times, right? It's going to make a difference. So integral theory, calculus, all that kind of shit, man, it's an interesting way to think about it. That's the way I like to think about it. But that's pretty much it for this update. We'll see you next week for the next one.